This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Here, Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM, Channel 158. Remember, too, if you ever miss any of the show, you can always download Money Moves in podcast form wherever you get your podcasts. Listen on your own time. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. We have reached the point of the offseason, by the way, that we are starting to get some thoughts percolating and wheels turning about college football. Big 12 Media Days got underway earlier this week, and so the Big 12 naturally has been on the brain a lot for us and on this program, and we got the idea. Could there be any Heisman sleepers, any dark horses that come from the Big 12? What say you?
I think there's one dark horse. The problem is his schedule is so difficult, and that's why I think he's a dark horse, because there's lots of opportunities for very big victories. Okay. And he's, I would argue, one of the better quarterbacks in college football. And so the opportunities are there for him, but will his team, with the author of the defunct greatest comeback of all time that never happened, will they be able to pull it off? You know who I'm talking about. I know you have something here. But I truly believe that, not to bury the lead anymore, I believe Noah Fifita would be a really interesting dark horse because I think the skill level is there. But it's going to be so difficult to navigate the schedule they have. So
that answers the question, because I was going to say, I wonder if it's the same guy that Brett Brennan has recommended as this year's Heisman hopeful. Take a listen to hear what Fifita's head coach had to say about him on the podium.
I think we're incredibly blessed to have a quarterback like Noah Fifita that definitely has a Heisman resume. Like, he always finds ways to do extra to give. And I think that's rare in today's day and age. I think so many kids are just taking all the time, and I get it. That's the culture, that's life. But this young man, he doesn't only kick ass on Saturdays, he kicks ass every single day of the week. And he is as special as it gets.
I love how Brent Brennan talks about things. He obviously talked a lot about what Noah Fifita does off of the field of play, but on the field, the dude is special, and he has been for 2 of the 4 years that we have seen him, right? He had a breakout freshman season under Jed Fish. We thought when Fish went to Washington that Tedero McMillan, that all those key guys were going to go with him to Washington. They didn't. They stuck around, and they haven't had the success that they thought they would until last season, where he kind of re-broke out, refound that energy, paired up with a new offensive coordinator who will be his offensive coordinator again this year. This is the first time in college football he's had the same offense 2 years in a row. Mm-hmm. And to your point, the schedule's really hard, but that could create opportunity if he's as good as you think he could be.
Correct. So let's say you start the season off on, you beat up on Northern Arizona, get a victory. First opportunity right off the bat, let's go to Utah to take on BYU. And what if you pull off an upset there? If you're Noah Fifita and Arizona, and then Northern Illinois at Washington State, home versus Cincinnati. These are winnable games. The difficult part of the schedule is that road trip to BYU. I think a road trip to West Virginia is a difficult in-conference. That's a very interesting place to play. It's a very strong home field advantage. You've got to go to Texas Tech. You've got to play host to Utah. And Kansas State, I think, is a team at the very least on their level, correct? We think Kansas State's going to be very good from their record standpoint. A lot of that has to do with their schedule, but still there should be a competent group with Optimus Klein out there. And, of course, you have to face Arizona State. That's always going to be difficult. The schedule is really hard. But if they somehow come out on the right end of that entire thing, dude, that's opportunity after opportunity to potentially build up a resume that would be worthy of winning a Heisman Trophy.
And again, 100-1, that price on Noah Fifita right now. We're getting triple digits. This is a market in general that has fared well for long shots in recent history. Obviously, last year, Fernando Mendoza was a 60-1 shot or thereabouts. That Week 2 matchup with BYU, I think, will be really interesting because I think there's another potential Heisman dark horse that could be discussed in Bear Bachmeier, who's available at 60-1. By the way, of your Big 12 Heisman candidates that we're discussing here, Will Hammond is the shortest number of all of those, with Brendan Sorsby out at Texas Tech. Will Hammond, health-wise, is supposed to be good to go. It seems, at least based on what Joey McGuire was talking about at Media Days this week, that he is very likely to be available for the beginning of the season after all, coming off of the torn ACL last year. But to go back to Bear Bachmeier, he got injured at the end of the year, but was awesome as a freshman for this Cougars team. I'm not thinking he's going to have a sophomore slump. I think BYU is another team that's going to be ranked in the top 25 when it comes out. He's going to be somebody that's talked about as a college football playoff contender potentially. And I think, despite the way that he plays because of his body, and I know I just mentioned that he got dinged up at the end of last season, he is largely a pretty durable guy. He's thick. He does not look like a standard quarterback. So that could be something that fares well in what is a more favorable Big 12 schedule. There are some big moments. We talk about the early matchup with Arizona. They're going to have Notre Dame coming to town. That if he fares well against that defense that a lot of people think could be the best defense in all of college football this year, that's one of those Heisman moment potential things for Bear.
You know, when the day comes and you convert to Mormonism, you're going to have to give up caffeine.
No, they got it back.
Oh, did they?
Didn't they get it back?
Did God decide that was okay?
I don't know how that all works, and I love my BYU brethren.
Oh, and they love you.
So much. No, you guys have treated me wonderful. I've covered more BYU football than I have any other team since I've worked at ESPN. They've treated me amazing. Big Kalani Sitake fan.
As I'm saying, yes, Stormy's very pro BYU, as they are very pro Stormy.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure. You guys tell me. I thought we got caffeine back.
We? See, I told you it was going to happen. I would agree, though. I think Bear Bachmeier is one of those candidates. What I'm curious about, I would say this. You and I made the case the other day about Oklahoma State, or I think I did more, but Oklahoma State being the New Mexico of the Big 12. For those who don't remember, New Mexico bursts onto the scene with that, and he brings all of his guys in from Idaho, and they have a really strong year, and now are one of the favorites to win the Mountain West this season because of the returning production. Same thing with Oklahoma State and Drew Mestemaker, who is coming in at quarterback, and a lot of continuity coming in from that team from North Texas. But I do wonder, like, at 65-1.
Not
I know
enough.
I was going to say, right?
Enough.
That seems really short.
He should be triple digits before Noah Fafita should be triple digits.
I would agree with that.
Like, as excited as we both are about Oklahoma State, and like this could be one of the biggest turnarounds, if not the biggest turnaround. No, it should be the biggest turnaround in college football. Oklahoma State won a game last year. One game. I think they're going to win 7.
But they fought hard.
7's not enough to get your quarterback in Heisman contention. Yeah. And listen, this is a guy who is special, right? The top 3 portal quarterbacks entering this offseason were Brendan Sorsby, Sam Leavitt, and Drew Mestemaker. Like, those were the names. So he's very valuable. This team is going to be significantly better, but not from a Heisman standpoint. You mentioned continuity. Do you have any interest in a Connor Wegman of Houston?
Oh, no, because I thought you were going to go a different direction. Because I do have an interest in...
Well, I was just saying, Willie Fritz, same offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, I believe, and DC. They have continuity across the board coaching, and this is a team that I think people forget was very, very good last year as well and got Wegman to return.
Yeah. I mean, I think that makes sense. And as they said during Big 12 Media Days, they have national championship aspirations. So now, you did leave a program that was going to make the college football playoff. But either way, I do think that Wegman does make some sense. But that was not the name that I was going for when there's some continuity, not as much as Wegman's got, though.
Where are you going?
Come on, man. We got to go back to the well one more time. Devin Dampier?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Avery Johnson.
No.
So, okay, I'm going to tell you.
You can go back. Don't put that evil on me, Bobby.
I don't think so for Dampier. So you tell me why.
I mean, he's Devin Dampier, first off. I think last year we got the short end of the stick because your boy Kyle Whittingham, now head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, lied about the injury to him going into that Texas Tech game, and so we got screwed. He got dinged up. But
how do you think I felt?
What do you mean?
I mean, not that game in particular, but numerous times where we were told one thing about a certain injury and then not found out more. And
but I mean,
I don't think Kyle likes me anymore. Thankfully, he's in the Big Ten now.
I feel pretty adamant that Dampier is still the guy that I think he can be, and it's not like he was awful last year anyway. So just with just being here, still staying with the same team, with some returning steel production around him, you do wonder about the Burt Ficklin thing.
That's
maybe that's going to poach some touchdowns from him and some numbers.
Some?
I mean, they can score lots. He scored 13 total touchdowns last year.
He scored 13 touchdowns. Yeah, I think the fact that Morgan Scalley has already talked about Bird Ficklin having a larger role in the offense and expanding that package is going to take away too much from Devin Dampier. So that's a no for me.
Dog.
Could Avery Johnson actually be what I thought he was going to be last year now that he's paired back up with Colin Klein?
Should have pulled the TikTok video.
That's a thought at 80-1 in what is a very favorable schedule.
Sure.
So I think at 80-1, that's a worthwhile look. The thing that's most interesting about the Big 12 to me as we put up all of these Heisman candidates is the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year.
Preseason, right?
Isn't even on this graphic. For the preseason, who is the projected offensive player of the year for the Big 12. L.J. Martin, BYU running back, 250-1 at FanDuel, not even on the board at DraftKings for this year's Heisman Trophy. And I understand why. It is a running back. I mean, it's a quarterback award. It's not a running back award. But that's wild to think about, is it not?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think it speaks to what the Big 12 is as a whole. We largely expect that Texas Tech is just going to run away with this thing. And so maybe Hammond is your ultimate best choice for it. But I think it's also hard. I shouldn't say it's hard for a running back to get it done.
It is, though.
It is going to be hard for a running back. And
Jeremiah Love couldn't do it last year.
You have a sexier name in Bear Buckmeyer that could take some votes from you.
The two, only 2 of the last 10 Heisman winners were non-quarterbacks, one of which was Travis Hunter, who we know is a two-way phenom. The other, Devonta Smith. Honestly, outside of Travis Hunter and a couple Alabama studs under Nick Saban, so you got Smith, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram. It's been all quarterbacks going back to 2005 when Reggie Bush won it. 13 of the top 14 players on the Heisman odds board right now are all quarterbacks. 16 of the top 20 in odds are also from the SEC or the Big Ten. So to get a running back out of the Big 12, even though he is your preseason offensive player of the year, that's even a 250 to 1 a no-go.
Yeah, I think you want a little bit more than that. I think ultimately your big takeaway here is that
I mean, he's a stud. I do want to say, LJ Martin's awesome. He's going to be great.
Yes, he is. But my big takeaway is it's either Devin Dampier or Noah Fafita. Those are your best options.
I
still want a little bit more than 101 on Fafita.
I think you should too, but I would go Bear and Fafita as my 1-2.
We at least agree on Fafita.
I mean, yeah, because
he's really good.
If he plays well in that schedule,
yep.
And that's the test, is he going to be the guy he was last year with a harder schedule? And you got to win those games. They had so many close games. We played on Money Moves earlier this week, the sound from Brent Brennan talking about how you have to play better and live up to the moment in close games because that's what held them back last year. Meanwhile, as we talk about all of this football stuff, our NFL betting guide is out now. The college football betting guide will be out soon, and our early bird football special is ongoing right now. $175 get you access to everything we do here at VSiN through the Super Bowl. So that's the guides, the daily best bets, betting splits data, 24/7 video. Go to vsin.com/subscribe to come join us. It's the only way you get access to those guides is being a subscriber. It's totally worth it. We'll be right back.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is that you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. VSiN Pro gives you access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Just tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Quarterfinal action continues in the World Cup. Belgium and Spain underway in the 15th minute. We are still scoreless there. We'll have some World Cup plays a little bit later on here in the program. We'll also talk a little NBA Summer League. VSiN Zach Cohen is going to join us in about 15 minutes. But we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Super Dave Ross, Captain America, joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Going to talk a little UFC 329.
Missed
also,
opportunity by you.
What?
The man, the myth, the American, MMA.
Oh, dang it.
Right off the dome, dude.
See, why don't you do the intros?
Dave, these things happen just like that. Just enter my mind. They just come out. I mean, are you amazed by my own intellect like I am?
Dave, am I getting fired?
I got to say, it was pretty impressive, JVT. The fact that it came right to you, passed right over Stormy, and normally that never flies by Stormy. So a little bit surprised by that, guys. No idea what we're going to see tomorrow night in the main event. I don't know that we're going to be ultimately surprised by that, and that'll probably get me to a couple of my plays here. I hate playing chalk, guys, but that might be the way to go.
Okay, so let's get into it. UFC 329 at T-Mobile Arena Saturday night. Conor McGregor, Max Holloway head-to-head here. And we have seen this number get driven down significantly already because Conor McGregor, I want to say, was as far out as like 3-1. Now he's plus 185, plus 190. So I asked the question to JVT earlier, are we going to continue to get cheaper and cheaper on Max Holloway? Because if so, I might have to jump in even at a heavy money line.
Stormy, you're picking up exactly what I was putting down. I feel the exact same way. Keep waiting if you're on the side of Max Holloway and see how low this number can get. Because I've got buddies, and look, when this number came out, Stormy, you could have got him close to 4-1. I've got people that I know have got him at plus 350, plus 375, And to me, that made a lot of sense at the time to play that number in Conor. But as we've gotten closer and closer here to fight night tomorrow night, and you start to really think about it, how is Conor going to beat him? How is Conor McGregor actually going to win the fight against Max Holloway? And I went back and rewatched the first fight again. He smothered Max the first time around. That's over a decade ago and 25 pounds less than they're going to be fighting tomorrow night. Is he going to bully ball Max? If he does, he's live. But I don't think he is. I think the wrestling Conor McGregor is long gone. And because of it, I think it's a standing fight, and Max can paintbrush him. Stay on the outside, make it look pretty. Do not make this an ugly fight. If it's a pretty fight, Max Holloway wins easily. If it's dirty, ugly, grimy, like the old Conor, that's the way he pulls off the big upset.
What kind of fight are we getting in terms of length, Dave? If you're looking at 2.5 over/under for total rounds, how are you going to price that out? Or does that tie into who it goes to? Like if it's Conor, do we go under? If it's Max, do we go over?
I think it's exactly right, JVT. I think it's correlated like that. I love the over. It's my favorite play in the main event here, over 2.5, minus $1.05. That's what I've already played. And here's the thing. Can Max Holloway knock out Conor McGregor inside of 2.5 rounds? I'd be really surprised. Can Conor catch Max? Sure. He still has punching power. That should translate to 170. But more than likely, outside of Ilya Topuria, who got it done in the third round against Max, Justin Gaethje is the hardest hitter at 155. I know this is 170. And Justin could do nothing with Max Holloway. Matter of fact, everybody remembers the knockout in the last second of that fifth round, which might go down as the greatest knockout ever. Max was dominating Justin Gaethje all night long leading up to that knockout. That's the way I see it, Jonathan. I think it's more of that type of script where he just carries Conor McGregor around, whips him, doesn't necessarily like to finish him early, and if he gets him out, I think he gets him out late, but I like the over 2.5. I just don't see either one of these two guys finishing the other inside of 3 rounds.
I will just I'll throw out there for your thought, Dave, that I think the greatest knockout of all time was Cody Garbrandt of Rafael Assunção when he knocked him out that hook right when the bell rang back in like 2017 or something like that. No, actually a little bit after that. But yes, right at the buzzer. Just throwing it out there. That's it.
That was with 1 second to go in that round. Absolutely. But for a fifth round knockout to happen in the last 10 seconds pointing down on the mat, I don't know we'll get better than that, but you're right. The Assunção KO right at the 1 second mark was pretty darn impressive.
Stormy remembers that.
By the way, real quickly, since when I was introducing Dave Ross to the program, JVT cut me off because he said I didn't do a good enough job. Didn't even let me finish. Host, by the way, of VSiN by the Book, 7 to 10 Eastern. Also co-host of the First Strike podcast. Find it wherever you get your podcast.
And American.
We open the segment by giving you a little score update on the World Cup where we're still 0-0. You know who doesn't care at all about what's going on this weekend? Paddy Pimblett, especially when it comes to ye old England, the Liverpool native. He doesn't care. He's busy this Saturday. What do you think about him as an underdog?
Stormy, he's one of my favorite fighters. I've backed Paddy to Paddy in every single fight, and I've only lost one, and that was the last time out against Justin Gaethje. Look, that really surprised me. And remember, Paddy was about a $2 betting favorite against Justin Gaethje, and he couldn't handle the punching power. Here's the problem for me now against Benoit Saint-Denis. You got to get into the cardio of VSD. I'll tell you this, I'd like it a lot better if it was a 5-round fight, but only being a 3-round fight, I think that's really problematic. So to me, this is correlated as well. If you like the Paddy Pimblett side, it's got to come after a round and a half. I think Benoit Saint-Denis can not only really hurt Paddy Pimblett, I think he might be able to get him out of there. I know what Paddy says, Scousers don't get knocked out. And he's never been knocked out. Justin Gaethje couldn't knock him out. He went all 5 rounds. That seems to be a badge of honor for Paddy. He got his ass kicked for 5 rounds by Justin Gaethje. I don't know how braggadocious I'd be about that. I see a similar type fight playing out. I love Paddy. Got to turn my back on him here. It's Benoit Saint-Denis at a really affordable $1.45 price point. I love the Frenchman in this spot.
What do you think about that, Stormy?
I totally agree.
Trying to catch you.
What?
Stormy took a very big bite of a donut while you were talking, Dave, and I was trying to catch her with food in her mouth, and it did not work. It did not work. All right, what else you got on the card? I know you've got a couple of plays here. We've talked about BSD, and we've talked about Max. Main event over. I think Krylov's on your card as well, correct?
Yeah, he is. And look, it's another one of those fights, Jonathan, where I'm trying to be educated as I get older. Don't bet with your heart, bet with your head. Robert Whittaker, again, one of my favorite fighters. But if you've noticed this week leading up to it, he's got all of his kids there from New Zealand. He's just a good dude. I think he's showing the family and the wife and the kids, this is what Dad does. And it almost might be time to say what Dad did. It might be past tense. I can't believe he's favored over Krylov in this spot. And so, look, my heart is going to be with a guy like Robert Whittaker. My head says I cannot lay a price point here, any price point with Robert. I'm taking Nikita on the other side here. I think clearly the best days of the Reaper are well behind him.
Beautiful. For the record, Dave, I had to match your energy. My sugar was low, so that was how that happened. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about what happened earlier today at the Genesis Scottish Open and Scotty Scheffler not making the cut. What is your reaction to that, first and foremost? But then looking ahead to the British Open next week, what does that make you think about his form or how he could be going into, obviously, a huge major event coming up?
It's a great question because I think now we're going to get affordable prices on Scotty. Look, you get the consecutive cuts made streak ending today, finishes at even par. Cut's going to be a 2, and Scotty not around for the weekend and for the first time in forever, right? It makes you appreciate Tiger Woods and his incredible mark to be able to set the record the way he did with consecutive cuts made. We did not think this would be the type of weekend where Scotty would have problems. It's kind of an innocuous golf course, and yet even par for 2 rounds, a 2 over today. So will that make him drift next week? It might, y'all. We might finally see, dare I say, 7-1s on Scotty Scheffler over there in England next week. And would I take a nibble? I probably still wouldn't. There's just something missing right now with Scotty. I don't know if it's fatherhood and the 2 kids. He's north of 40. He was joking about his hairline receding, said it's been receding since the 20s. So he's not that worried about it now that he's hit 30. He does feel like a slightly different guy. I know the top 10s and the top 5s, and he's still the best in the world. I get all of that. But to keep playing the short numbers on Scotty, I stopped it a long time ago. I had no tickets on him this week. I really like Robert McIntyre. He's at 7 under par here, just 2 off the lead. I still think that the Scotsman might win the Scottish Open. The next week, I don't know if I want to fade Scotty, but, man, coming off a missed cut, we just haven't seen it like ever in like the last 4 years. I have no idea where he is mentally, but this is not a good sign going into England next week for the British Open.
What Scotty would give for your consistent putting and your hairline, my friend. Dave, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it, and enjoy the final weekend of your vacation.
I can't wait. You guys are the best. Talk to you soon.
How nice is he, by the way, giving us time when he's on vacay? I'm not going to actually let you comment on that. Dave Ross, everybody, VSiN by the book, 7 to 10 Eastern, each and every weekday. Also host of the First Strike podcast with our friend Rob Moreno. By the way, as the World Cup rolls on, we've got daily baseball. We've got UFC. The sports calendar never stops, and the Sharp Plays is covering it all. They've been winning for 15 straight years. All of it documented, logs posted publicly over at sharpplays.com. We know that kind of transparency in the industry is rare. So when the Sharp Plays moves, sportsbooks take notice. Get involved with them today. They've got advanced AI, trusted insider intel, finding the value before numbers shift. Head over to sharpplays.com to learn more. That's sharpplays.com. When we return here on Money Moves, VSiN's own Zach Cohen going to join the program, talk through some NBA and NBA Summer League. Stick around.
If they You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Still 0-0 as the World Cup quarterfinal between Spain and Belgium rolls on in the 30th minute here. Belgium, though, looking like the better team, dominating possession to this point.
Come on. No, it ain't no.
Oh!
All right, here we go. We got our first goal of the match. Spain up 1-0.
Let's go. As someone who has Spain parlayed with Max Holloway in UFC coming up this weekend, that is the start we need.
I like that celebration.
Right on cue.
I like the throw the ball under the shirt celebration. I'm a big fan of that. When it's raining and you slide and you hit the flag in the corner, it's a good one too.
Stormy and Jonathan, Jonathan Von Tobel with you back here on Money Moves. Our good friend Zach Cohen joining us now on the Progressive Guest Line. Host of Hardwood Handicapper, senior editor here at VSiN. Yes, we're going to talk NBA in a moment, but you have also been writing up work throughout the last couple weeks covering all things Wimbledon, and we have the final for both the men's and women's side set. Congrats to you, by the way, on how you played the men's semis. Nailed it.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I was really having a hard time looking at those two prices. There were two big favorites in those two matches, so had to get a little bit creative and ended up taking both favorites -1.5 sets, and it was plus 105, so I was happy with the way that went.
You want to follow?
I figured you could ask an obvious question about the final, but that's fine. Zach, when it comes to Jannik Sinner, he's a big favorite once again now in this matchup with Zverev. Have you thought yet about the way that you want to play it? Obviously, if you do want to do something, you have to get creative again here.
Yeah, so big favorite again. The last couple of matchups between these two have been extremely lopsided, but if you are looking for kind of the positive slant with Zverev, it's that he just won his first Grand Slam title. He's no longer really carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders anymore. He's allowed to play a little bit more freely. And we've been seeing that all throughout this tournament. I mean, he absolutely pummeled Taylor Fritz, somebody that had beat him in 7 straight matches heading into that one. Killed Arthur Ferry today in what I thought was one of the best performances that I've ever seen out of Zverev. I know it wasn't a great opponent, but just in terms of the way that he was striking the ball, it was really impressive. You just wonder now, will he be able to bring that aggressiveness and intensity into this match against Sinner? Or does it kind of creep into his mind that he kind of needs to win this Grand Slam and beat Sinner in order to kind of validate his career? Because the title that he won at Roland Garros, not that impressive. And tennis hardos, to take a phrase from Gil Alexander, will dock him for this. If he loses to Sinner in the final, it'll almost be like that championship in Paris never happened.
For the public record, I was not listening because I was looking up statistics to update our
I thought
FIFA
you were
World Cup
eating
game.
raw almonds.
No. Unlike you, I am a professional and get all my eating done between the breaks. All right, Zach, let's go to last night in the association. The Summer League, of course, underway. We don't have to talk about Keaton Wagler's debut, okay? Let's just put that to the side. We can, though, talk about, of course, the big guys going at it, AJ Debonsa, Darren Peterson. Any grand takeaways? Because we've seen Peterson already in the Salt Lake Summer League, but Debonsa comes in with a big flourish last night at the Thomas and Mack.
Yeah, Debonsa was really, really good. You kind of got those comparisons throughout the pre-draft process where people said he's a bigger version of SGA, and you kind of see it in how shifty he is and how clever he is at finding ways to attack the basket. And the jumper, is really the only question mark with him, but that's about as good as you could possibly look. If you're a Wizards fan or a Wizards backer heading into the season, you have to feel really good about what you just saw and, the potential of having your franchise player there. With Peterson, I texted it to you and Kelly. I don't know that it's a take that I'm really ready to fully unleash, but I do think that Peterson looks really slow still. And I don't think that he looks like the same guy that we saw in high school, which is kind of what we saw in Kansas. And I know that he's kind of, gotten away from some of that with his amazing shot making, which is what we saw in Salt Lake City. But if he's not the explosive athlete that he was in high school, it does limit his upside. And I just kind of wonder if we're ever going to see that guy again or when we're going to see it.
We've got 8 games coming up today as the Summer League continues here in Vegas. One of those games set to get underway in the next half hour or so, and I know you are invested. Milwaukee laying 6.5 against Miami, total 180.5. How are you playing it?
Man, that must have moved a ton since I wrote it up last night because I got the Bucks at -120 against the Heat, so definitely not going to be available in that range anymore, but that was a game that I looked at, and you just kind of looked at the two rosters. I've been using JVT's Summer League roster tracker, and there's just not a lot of talent on this Miami Heat team. Milwaukee has, Braden Burry's their first-round pick this year, and kind of a slew of interesting young players that you wouldn't really expect to be on a Summer League roster, like Brandon Boston, Kira Lewis Jr., some guys that I think have something to prove out there, and I just think overall they are the better team, the more talented team. The only thing I get worried about with Miami is that, something I wrote at VSiN.com is I do think culture trickles down. And if you are trying to earn your way onto the Heat roster, you're going to be competing in Summer League. But I do think that the Bucks will find a way to get it done. So if you do want to jump on that with me, I guess I would say to parlay the Bucks money line, maybe with one of the 2 games that I have in my parlay. If you don't feel good about it, I do have a two-leg parlay that we could talk about in a second. But yeah, Summer League starts in 25 minutes today, and I'm sure it is going to take over that big TV you guys have behind you.
With sound, of course. Who needs to watch Belgium and Spain go at it for the honor of best soccer team in the world when you can watch a summer league match?
I think that just means we're going to get bumped, though.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
We're
on a pretty nice size screen out there. We're getting.
That's kind of trippy. I'm looking at myself. Look at myself. All right, let's talk a little bit about some other ones. You mentioned your parlay, so floor is yours. What are you parlaying together?
So I have the Nets on the money line against the Knicks. Parlayed that with the Grizzlies money line against the Bulls. That was minus 114 when I wrote this up last night. I'm trying to work in advance with these because you do have the early starts. So trying to work one night ahead when I can. But yeah, with Brooklyn, I think that this is the best team in the summer league. I kind of wrote that over at vsin.com. I talked about it in the Hardwood Handicappers podcast that I did kind of previewing this tournament. I just don't think that there are any teams that have 5 first-round picks on the roster and several other second-round picks. I think a lot of teams have higher-end talent at the top. But I think with Yegor Djemin and Michael Brown Jr., you do have top-end talent, but you just have depth that other teams don't have. And the Knicks, they got their championship in the real thing that matters. This is a really good chance for Brooklyn to kind of beat up on them. And the other game, it's Boozer against Caleb Wilson. I kind of can't wait for this one. I think this is going to be one that, kind of like last night, will have a lot of eyeballs on it. But I expect Chicago to find a way to win this one. I feel like the reports at a camp with the Bulls or the rookie camps, whatever it is, with Caleb Wilson, where that he was like a little shaky and a little nervous, and he did find himself a little bit later on. But I just kind of think that Boozer is going to win that matchup, and I think that Memphis is, rest of the roster, way more ready to compete here.
I know you have another money line play as well, though you didn't parlay this one, the Phoenix Suns. It's out to minus 162 now, though, laying 3.5 against the Portland Trailblazers, 177.5 your total. Would you be more inclined to look at the spread, or what would you suggest with that price creeping up a little bit more on Phoenix?
Yeah, at this point, I'd be looking at the spread over the money line. I guess I'm moving lines with my modest plays. I don't know what to say. But I do think Phoenix has very underrated summer league roster, and I think that they match up really well with Portland. I think if you look at the Blazers, they're trying to beat you inside with Jan Hansen, who was kind of the darling of summer league last year. But the Suns do have Kaman Malawach, I think a player that's going to break out this year. Had some really good moments last year for the actual Suns. Rasheer Fleming, same thing. I think that Phoenix has about as good of a front court as you could possibly have in the Vegas Summer League setting. And something that, did kind of take place a little bit after I think JVT started working on the Summer League rosters, at least at the start, was that the Suns did, add Kobe Barea, or not add, they brought him back on a 2-way contract. So he is on the Summer League roster. That gives them the kind of firepower that they need on the perimeter now, too. I think Phoenix is going to be an interesting team over the next 10 days or so. I think they have a chance to win the Summer League.
Wow. All right. I like it. I mean, let me ask you this. As we're talking about these and betting game to game, as you move along, information-wise, like how are you going to handle this outside of just roster evaluation? Are you going to kind of tamper down what you bet? How are you going to handle it going forward?
I probably won't have 3 bets every single day, so I'm going to be looking for information as much as I can, seeing how many players are going to be active for these rosters, and I'll determine it day by day. It's possible I won't be able to work in advance in the future because teams are going to start sitting their star players. Like I think last night, DeBonzo tweaked his calf, and they were like, we might not see him the rest of Summer League, and that's definitely possible. So you have to be very aware of what these teams are doing with their stars, and that does make betting on Summer League very difficult. It's already very difficult because it's not like we have numbers and statistics or trends that we can really use. It really is roster evaluation and what you actually know about these players. So already kind of a tough task.
Really good stuff, Zach, as always. Thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
And again, write-ups all the time over at vsin.com. You can also check out the Hardwood Handicappers podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Again, before we hit the break, just to update you, Spain did score while we've been on the air for this segment, up 1-0 over Belgium. Fabian Ruiz giving the Spanish the early 1-0 lead in the 30th minute. We do need to step aside here real quickly on Money Moves. When we come back, closing things out already on a Friday. Headed you into the weekend on the right foot. We will close things out with our best bets.
You all right?
I choked.
Got a little sugar, huh? You got a little too much sugar in your mouth, don't you?
I didn't eat anything this time.
The residuals of your maple donut. I will say,
it's not finished yet. We will complete in the commercial break.
The Spanish colonizers are very much outplaying Belgium so far early on. A lot of good opportunities here.
No doubt about it. Okay, we will be right back on Money Moves. Stick around, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Reminder, friends, the VSiN NFL Betting Guide is out now. Whether you're betting futures, win totals, division races, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Super Bowl odds or more, our guide is helping you get ahead of the market before training camps get underway. We're less than a week out, by the way. Inside, you'll find breakdowns of all 32 teams, projected win totals, best bets from our VSiN show hosts and experts, futures analysis, and power ratings. Get it today. Our football special going on, just $175. The sooner you sign up, the more value it gives you with full access to everything we do through every sport through the Super Bowl. That includes the daily best bets, real-time bet splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop projections, and 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app. Head over to vsin.com/subscribe today to come join us. That's vsin.com/subscribe. And as we go from football to football, good for JVT. Bad for your girl. Belgium knots things up. Charles de Ketelaere gets on the board for Belgium. We are tied at 1.
Yes, we are. So both teams to score. We're good.
I thought his name was Charles. It's Charles.
It's because you're a pig-headed American, and you would not even think that maybe there's other ways to pronounce words outside of your disgusting English language. But I would say that this has been, first off, a very fun match. But it speaks to Belgium. We hit this with Mike Palm. Offensively, this team, since that rough start to group play, has been insane. 12 goals in the last 3 matches. They get another one here against a team that had a clean sheet up to this point of the tournament. And was it De Ketelaere? With a nifty header here to get that in. So Belgium, man, there's just something weird. Every time I watch them, I feel like they're not a great team, but they're a very talented team with a lot of older guys that know what they're doing here, and that is showing almost every single time out.
I don't know the goal scorer prices for De Ketelaere right now, but I'll see if I can track it down for Fabian Ruiz, who scored for Spain. First goal, 17-1. Anytime goal scorer, plus 420. So you did cash in with him as a long shot.
His first career World Cup goal.
Beautiful. I would like them to score another, though, as somebody who has Spain money line paired with Max Holloway on Saturday, which kind of leads us to our best bets here real quickly if we want to knock these out, because this is all that I have going into the weekend. But I think I might take a page out of your book, and should this result not go the way that I want it for my parlay, which pays about plus 130, I can still pair Max Holloway with another potential team in the World Cup.
Okay, so what do you got?
I'm asking you. I'm saying if I lose this bet, I'll follow you.
Yeah.
That with your bet. I'm trying to give you it.
Oh, well, you set it up. It's right there for you. That's all I got confused. It didn't sound like a question to me.
You're not confused.
I am. All right, the Mariners lost yesterday. We don't need to throw that up. But I will say what we have. All right, England to advance against Norway. Parlay with Max Holloway money line. Gives you plus 110.
Yeah, I think that's a nice angle. Any way that you can pair this with another favorite that you like, that you can get into the plus money sphere, I think is a worthwhile angle. But in all, I don't bet a ton of UFC. But from what I understand, just on the surface here, for this Max Holloway-Conor McGregor fight, people are just going to keep betting on Conor McGregor because you see the plus money price attached to what is such a big name. You want to see this be a fight where the underdog who hasn't had a fight in 5 years comes out and looks awesome against the young gun, right? My hope is that this number just continues to get driven down and I can bet Max Holloway at a cheaper price. And if we can get sub $2, I am in. We had Dave Ross on the program earlier. He found a minus 205. I think that is a good buy point as well. Minus 225, I think we're just getting up there a little bit too much. So shop around, but continue to get closer to Saturday. And I think wait it out a bit.
Yeah, for our audience, for some substance behind what Stormy is saying here. A couple of spots had as high as minus 500 on their screens for Max Holloway to win this thing. And as you mentioned, now down to that minus 225, cheapest price on the screen right now. So it is going down and will probably continue to go down. I don't know if you would get under $2, but you probably get damn close to it. Here with Holloway, but parlaying it with England to advance. I like this English side. We've talked about it. There was a lot of angry British people in my mentions because I wasn't talking about soccer properly. To them, I say we won the war and I can do whatever I want. So I will talk about it as much as I want in the fashion that I do.
Probably because you keep calling it soccer. That's problem number one.
Probably. Some of them got mad because I called the English football team a club, and I guess you're not supposed to do that. Either way, I think England's going to beat Norway, and Max Holloway is going to beat Conor McGregor, so we'll parlay those two things together. Since we're on me, might as well finish off here. Spain, Belgium, both teams to score. We talked about that earlier in the program. Got that. We're good. 1-1 right now. With the 49th minute, 50th minute coming up. And then Mike Palm and I read each other's minds, finished each other's sentence earlier today. We're in together, it would seem, on this. I did add the Valkyries to win the WNBA Finals at 12-1. I just, why not? This is right now it's the hottest team in the WNBA. We have plenty of regular season left. Anything can happen. I don't buy I think they're legitimate. I shouldn't say that. I think the Aces are more flawed and beatable than I think their armor, I guess, that's out there because they're defending champ, how good they can be. I think they can be beaten. This is the best coached team, I think, in the WNBA at this point right now. They're great defensively. Got a strong home court advantage so far to this point of the season. And at 12-1, I'll take my chances. So I've added that as well. Valkyries to win WNBA Finals at 12-1. I
did get the price, by the way, on Deca. I was
just
doing
call
so
him
well.
Charlie D.
Decathlare. His name isn't Charlie.
Oh,
it's Charlie. Plus 450. So he was a long shot price as well for an anytime goal. First goal that Spain has conceded now in the World Cup comes to Belgium. So good on you again for the both teams to score. As for my recap of yesterday, France team total over 1.5 ends up coming through for us, minus 130. And we get to cash that 2-unit play on France to make the semifinal now. So there we go. Very good day in all. Now just need France to win it all and Mbappe for golden boot to get some of those futures home in the World Cup. That's all I have going into the weekend, though. I'll probably, as we get closer to some of those other World Cup games, dive further in. But I am very impressed, by the way, with how the sportsbook is filled here at Circa Resort and Casino for this game. We know Mexico has had a really great turnout here, obviously all of the U.S. games, but for Spain, Belgium, I wasn't sure what we were going to get. This is awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's actually very crowded. They didn't really register every time I looked out there.
Well, and when the goals have been scored, was it the second goal? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the second goal was in a commercial break, so you didn't get to see kind of the roar, but it was great.
Look, it's been a very fun tournament. We talked about the handle and how well it's been handled and how much it's been watched. I think the TV ratings, I saw the number was 50 million who watched the USA and Belgium, so I don't think there's any surprise that this is going very well from a betting standpoint in terms of handle and then, of course, popularity, too. And we had asked the question with the Americans out, is that going to suffer? But I don't think so. This tournament's been great.
It has. The games have been fantastic. I'm very curious to see what Argentina looks like coming up on Saturday as part of that doubleheader. I know you, as you mentioned, you're invested in England, but for the Golden Boot race, you obviously have Erling Haaland futures. So could you get those to stay alive? It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. I am really struggling to speak right now, and I know you've been making fun of me because I ate a donut, but that thing was so good, and now it's gone, and I'm still salivating to eat, because I want more.
We can hear it.
It was so good. It was
for our audience,
it was a maple bar, buttery, fresh. I hadn't eaten today.
As we're really plugged in with our audio, so you can hear. I can hear the saliva separating in your mouth as you speak.
Okay, I think it's not nearly as bad as whatever the hell I heard from you and Mike Palm on the microphone earlier when I was trying to do a read.
You're just laughing.
That's what it sounded like. It was very uncomfortable for all of us.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was very uncomfortable.
Anyway, what do you got?
You're the one that told me you had a couple things that you wanted to talk about.
I do have a couple of things.
Why are you deferring to me?
Well, first off, so I was telling you during the break, you're not the only VSiN host that I've tried to get in the midst of a food scandal while we were on the air. The other I did get, though. In the early days of the Vegas Stats and Information Network, when there was a program called The Edge with myself and Matt Humans liked to stop by the South Point Steak and Shake and get food right before we would go on the air.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
He got himself a spicy chicken sandwich, and right before we come on the air, he decides to take a massive bite out of said spicy chicken sandwich. The problem with eating certain foods, it was dangerous. I had some raw almonds earlier. Nuts are very dangerous.
Nuts are a dangerous one,
because they shard. Now, the roasted ones. Raw almonds are a little softer, so it's not really going to leave pieces in your mouth as much as the roasted nuts. Whole point here being is that Matt did not realize that he had a giant glob of mayonnaise on his mouth after he took that massive
And you didn't
bite.
tell him?
Not only did I not tell him,
that's just what? That's
I introduced
awful.
us and immediately went to, Matt, how you doing today? And they cut to a one-shot of Matt.
Okay, but not only is that wrong of you, that's wrong of the whole crew.
Of course
you got to let a boy know.
Whoever was our TD that day noticed pretty quickly and then just went to a wide shot.
That's awful.
But it was pretty good.
Also, we have had, I think, a near-death experience with Greg Peterson.
Yes.
Tried to do a hot dog eating contest. That didn't go well.
Angers me because everybody keeps calling that the hot dog eating contest. We had a first one. I did it.
I don't know.
I failed.
Nobody thought that one was very good, though.
Yeah, but it did. Also, I just thought that this was interesting that an artist in New York apparently gathered up a bunch of garbage from Taylor Swift's wedding and put it into tiny transparent sandwich bags and sold it for $25 a bag.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Are they actually getting purchased?
Yes.
No way.
Yes. So anyway, looking forward to the weekend.
That's the state of America.
Should have sold it for more, yes. Also looking forward to the end of the world. But
should have bet more, should have sold it for more. That's a wrap for us today. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Enjoy the weekend. Get some rest. You know, going to be a busy next week coming up. For Jonathan Von Tobel, our producer Justin Emery, whole crew behind the scenes, I'm Stormy Buonantony, and we will see you next time, same place. Follow the money with Mitch and Paul after this.